This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised as some cases contain graphic content. We mean no disrespect to anyone we discuss in this podcast except our exes. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. However, we will be expressing our personal opinions. Buckle up, Buttercup.
Hey guys, it's Cynthia.
And I'm Wes, and this is Love and Luminol, True Crime Podcast.
Yay! I know you missed us.
No, you didn't.
But today we're going to discuss the Bluegrass Belle. Heard that one?
Bluegrass, Kentucky, Belle. I don't know.
All right. Well, you'll find out. Let's get into it.
Here we go.
All right, guys. Sorry about the hiatus. Is that what we call it?
It's her fault.
Well, part of it. One weekend I was sick. I have some gallstones trying to aggravate me as of lately. So it's just a waiting game to where it gets too bad. And they're like, okay, I guess we'll cut it out. And then he was in the hospital last weekend. So it's just been a bunch of shit. So sorry. We haven't been able to do podcasts for a little while.
Yeah, it's been fun.
But what you got? Anything new? Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I mean, I told you guys before that I was writing a book, and I told you I finished it, and pre-orders are available right now. Loveandluminol.com. You can get pre-orders on the physical copies.
Yay. I'm watching this later.
So if you guys pre-order this on the website, I will sign it, and it comes with some goodies as well, and it's pretty cool. Yeah.
The physical book, not on the computer no more.
Yep. It is available on Kindle for pre-order as well. If Kindle Unlimited, if you have that, I believe it's going to be free through that. We're
For
also
membership.
Yeah. If you have Kindle Unlimited membership.
Yep.
Yeah. Also working on an audiobook. Got somebody recording that. All of it should be out June 3rd. So the release date, June 3rd, to get both physical ebook on Kindle and audiobook through Audible. So
That's true. So check it out. I'm reading it right now. It's really good. I like it.
that's not.
It's got my attention. I was honestly surprised.
It sucks.
It's good. It's good. Sorry, I'm not having a stroke or a seizure. I'm watching this ladybug circle around. Yes, they're still here.
Yeah.
They're like his ex. We can't get rid of them.
True.
They just keep coming around. But I was watching it do circles. So if you saw me staring at the table while he was talking about his book, I was paying attention. I was just watching this ladybug race. So, yes, check it out. You have hardcovers too, don't you?
Yeah, we do have hardcovers as well. Those are available on the website for pre-order as well. So, yeah. I just have paperbacks here because I figure they're probably the most popular. But yeah, we do hardcovers as well. If anybody's curious about what the book is about, it's a horror novel and kind of a thriller mixed in there. But it's based on this podcast. It's based on me and Cynthia and our family, and just a fictional telling of crazy adventures.
Yes.
But yeah, it's even got the logo from the podcast, and it says based on a true crime podcast. So pretty cool.
Yay.
So anything from you?
No.
See,
Work.
just work.
Gallstones in school. That's about it.
Work, gallstones in school.
But
Sounds fun.
yes.
All right. So I guess let's get into this episode.
Let's roll. As you can see already, you got it right. Kentucky, bluegrass, obvious.
Whoop, whoop.
Yes, that's why Braden says he's allergic to Kentucky, because he's allergic to bluegrass.
He's allergic
It's like,
to bluegrass.
I can't go to Kentucky. I'm allergic to bluegrass. I said, that's everywhere. But it's like, okay. Bluegrass Belle. So we're going to jump into this case. Her actual name, Verna Elizabeth Garr Taylor. It's my grandma's name. But there's a picture of her, as you can tell, older case.
Yeah.
It's a black and white old photo. But she was 40 years old, and she is the victim.
Okay.
Born June 17th of 1896.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
This is not recent at
No,
all.
not recent by any means. But she was raised in a farm family, so a family of farmers.
Well, I mean, it's 1800s Kentucky.
I know, but it wasn't like he was in the. She had a military father, or they were in the. What else would there be?
I'm just saying,
Moonshine business
1800
or-
Kentucky, you're probably a farmer.
Carpentry.
True.
They were. Their jobs were working on their farm.
Okay.
And it took place in LaGrange, Kentucky.
LaGrange.
You know where that is. Her husband was Rowan Barclay Taylor. Rowan Barclay Taylor. Yep. And they had 2 daughters, Frances and Mary. Frances and Mary were 17 and 21 the time of her passing.
Okay.
So they were older children at that time. Well, her husband passed away actually in 1929.
Okay.
So I don't know how old her children were at that time, but he passed. I'm not sure why. But she also had 2 brothers that kind of stepped in to help her when they could. There was, and I think one had a different name. I found 2 names for him when I was researching this stuff. Like I said, I looked it up. So it could be one or the other. I think one's actually maybe his name and these are initials. But the name that popped up the most was E.S. is one brother. There's 3 brothers total. E.S., Jack, and Roy.
Okay.
So E.S., that's what I said, E.S. I saw E.S. and I saw some other name. It started with the E, so I'm assuming that's his initials.
Okay.
But so she ended up starting and running a successful laundry and dry cleaning business. Yeah.
Okay.
So she was raised on the farm, working the farm. She had her own laundry business and dry cleaning business.
Very cool.
And then during this time in her life, she met and actually got engaged to Henry Denhard. He was 61 years old, and Henry's described as bald and 6'2".
I mean.
And there's
Okay.
a picture of dear Henry there.
Oh, Henry.
Yes. Oh, Henry.
Oh, Henry.
Definitely bald, but 6'2", I can't confirm. But
Yeah.
he was
in the suit with the way he looks and the time frame. I just picture him the candy bar guy. Like he came up with
setting
the
up
Oh
the
Henry candy bar. Like he's like a billionaire.
well,
It's a good picture.
it is. But he was raised by German immigrant parents in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Okay.
His parents are from Germany. Henry was a decorated veteran of several wars and had been lieutenant governor of Kentucky from 1923 to 1927.
Well, that explains the suit then.
Yeah, you
That
said he
explains
looks
the
like
suit in
a
the picture. It looks like he's
Richard man.
important.
Yep, he was
All
at the
right.
time. Lieutenant governor of Kentucky. And there's a poster of, I assume I don't even know if that's a photo or a drawing or what that is.
I think it's a photo.
It looked nothing like him in the previous photo. Way younger him, I suppose, but that's his vote for me poster. Pretty simple,
I
straightforward.
guess they had Photoshop back then too.
That's why I was wondering if it was a sketch or what it was.
He's like, make me look better. And they're like, let's
Smooth-
pinch and zoom and
Smooth the forehead out a little. Yeah. But
they
that's
probably could touch up photos, but probably by hand.
probably, I'd say, some shading and stuff. But that's pretty simple, straightforward. Vote for his name and what he's doing.
No tagline, no
saying,
make
no
America great
motto.
again, nothing.
Just simple name and vote. That's it.
Oh,
So cannot much confusion there. He peaked at the rank of brigadier. I don't know what that is.
you got me lost on
But
that one.
yeah, I'm not versed in the military terms. But
Brigadier.
it's Brigadier. I spelled out, so maybe someone will know. But it's that general in the U.S. Army. It's where he peaked at his rank in the military.
Okay.
And here is a picture of him younger when he's in the military.
Okay. You know, his election or his election poster, they probably took a younger photo.
Probably.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because that looks closer to that election poster.
True.
See?
True.
That one looks like the same guy.
It just looked like he had more hair. Maybe not. I don't know. I forgot to draw this.
I'm telling you, I think they just took a younger picture.
Possibly. Again, I don't know. It said 1923-27 when he was lieutenant governor of Kentucky, so I assume he was
Maybe that other
younger.
picture where he's in the suit, maybe it's
Older.
later.
Possibly. Could very well be.
So maybe this is about what he looked like when they made the poster.
Yeah, because I don't have his birthday or nothing. I know at the time of her... Yeah, because at the time of her passing, he was 61.
Okay.
So yeah, he must have been younger. Well, he later commanded the Commonwealth's National Guard.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was doing a little bit of everything. He was known for public outbursts, openly carrying a gun at all times, having an alcohol problem, and always getting his way. So German.
Wow, you're going to get some comments.
No, take that out there.
You're like, so German.
No. But he was labeled in the military as, quote, the Iron General, and was said to be a, quote, power drunk. So he seemed like he's very, like, stern, stubborn, loud, mean, probably. You're looking
So
at me.
German.
I stand by that comment. I can stand by it because Braden has some German blood and I'm not on my side. And I can tell. Stubborn as shit. So.
Yeah. Hitler was pretty stubborn.
See?
So it's Elon. That's a good one.
But
So is Trump. Oh.
now we're canceled. Now, Henry was divorced when he met Verna as a widow.
Oh, okay.
So she was a widow. He was divorced when they met. They met when Henry bought a retirement estate near LaGrange. So you're close with money.
Yeah.
He bought a retirement estate.
Oh, Henry.
Oh, yes. What was he going to do with that? But Henry dated Verna for a short period of time before asking her to marry him. He was ready to settle down. He's getting that age.
So like second, third date.
But he bought her a $20,000 ring, which is outstanding for that time.
Yeah.
Early 1900s.
That's outstanding for right now.
You're like, hell, for that time.
I didn't spend that much. That's for
We
sure.
know. No, because that's crazy.
That is crazy. That's
Back
crazy.
then,
Like I
way
said.
crazy. Today, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, all right. Oh, Henry. But we're going to jump to the date in question, November 6th of 1936.
All this, oh, Henry. I kind of want a candy bar now, but go ahead.
But November 6th of 1936. And Verna here was having some doubts about marrying old Henry. Yeah, things were starting to get rough. There's a picture of her not so young, more around that time.
Looks like
So she's 40, he's 61. That's 21 years of difference.
an old school bathing suit.
It does, doesn't it?
I think this was taken at the beach.
In Kentucky? Possible. I guess a lake or I don't know. Anywhere.
Indiana Beach. Okay.
Oh, yeah, but she's in Kentucky. Did they travel that far?
To Indiana?
In 1930?
They had cars.
Yeah, I just didn't think people moved around that much.
Cars, trains, buses.
As a
The hell?
widowed white woman, you gonna take a train up to the beach?
Maybe he took her to the beach.
It's possible.
He got money.
He does. He bought
I
a
guarantee you
retirement
he's got a
home.
nice car.
He had a few.
Yeah.
But one of her, it said one relative, I don't know if it's his or hers, probably hers, described Henry as, quote, a foul ball.
Okay.
That must have been an insult at the time. He must not be all there, a foul ball. I don't know what that means.
I've never heard of a person called a foul ball. I mean, it's a
know.
baseball term.
It is. A foul
Foul
ball.
ball, it's no good.
Is that what he means? A disappointment?
It's just no good.
Not
Like
bad.
you hit the ball and you think it's going to be a home run and then it goes foul.
You're like,
and you're
"Aw."
like, that's no good.
I guess.
He's no good.
But Verna planned to tell Henry of her decision to not marry him during a trip to Louisville on November 6th.
Louisville.
Yeah. Ugh.
I swear you cannot say that word without sounding drunk. And I think it's because of all the bourbon. Louisville.
Quite possibly. But he was picking her up to go to Louisville. That's the capital to do whatever. And she was going to break up with him that day. She's going to break up with him that night due to him becoming very possessive very quickly.
No.
Yeah. But old Henry's car broke down on the way home from Louisville.
That money doesn't help. Sometimes
night.
things break down still.
Yep. And so they sought help at a farmhouse nearby. They saw there's a farmhouse. They're like, maybe they can help us. But mechanics pushed the car to a nearby gas station. Assumed to look at it, work on it, whatever. And Henry said that Verna walked back to the side of the breakdown to look for her glove that she dropped. I guess she got out of the car, she threw a glove down.
Okay.
It was then that he claimed Verna turned his gun on herself because she was so upset. Yes.
Because she dropped the glove?
Guess, I don't know. But he said that she shot herself.
Okay.
The body was found in the ditch on the side of Highway 146.
Okay.
So,
Do we know where that highway is? 146?
No, it says found close to intersection of Pendleton on Highway 146 at the blinking light.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know where
I
that
don't
is.
know where that is either. Somewhere between Louisville and, where was this, LaGrange? Somewhere in there. And a .45 caliber pistol was found near her body, and that's a picture of them measuring how long the gun was there. And the gun belonged to Henry. It was Henry's gun.
Well, yeah, he always carried it, remember?
It's the one he always carried. He was arrested and charged with her murder.
But she did it, I thought.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
The trial took place April 20th in 1937, where he faced the death penalty.
Damn.
But media took hold of the public interest in the case, calling Verna the, quote, most beautiful woman in Kentucky.
Okay.
Yes. More than 1,000 people gathered for the trial. So that's popular.
She's way prettier than my sister.
She is. Oh.
Hey, we can make that joke. We're around this area, so.
Yes. So my dad got married in Kentucky, and he said one question they asked him was, "Are you related?"
They ask that everywhere.
He said,
He thought it was funny, though.
he said, "Is it a requirement?" I said, "Oh God!" And they still gave you a marriage license?
Oh, man.
Like, denied. But a loudspeaker was placed outside the courthouse so everyone could hear the business going on inside.
Damn.
They're like, there's too many people to set, so we're just going to put speakers on the outside so you can hear.
It's like OJ.
The defense attorney for Henry was John Barry Sr. And Dr. Walsh was brought in to testify about the bullet hole in Verna's chest. And there was a bullet hole in her butt.
In her chest?
Yes.
But she did it herself.
Yes.
Okay.
Bullet hole in her chest under her left breast.
That's his
I
story.
guess aiming for the heart. I don't know what was. Yeah, something right in there. Through the chest, underneath.
Don't come any closer,
Boom, yeah, something.
or I'll shoot.
That's where it was. Dr. Walsh, along with doctors Blades and Miller, used.
Blades?
Yes.
Well, I want that name. Dr. Blades.
It's spelled Blaydes.
I'd be a surgeon. I'd be a surgeon. Dr. Blades.
Just because the name.
Can you imagine if you were going, imagine like they take out your gallbladder and they said, We've got Dr. Blades taking care of it. He'd be like, damn.
Like, he has to know what he's doing.
With that name, he's got to know what he's doing.
It's in his blood.
Either that or he's a serial killer on the side.
Either way, he's still got to know.
Either way, he knows how to
He
cut.
knows how to cut. But that's what I'm saying. Either way, smooth with the knife.
Dr. Blades. I
Man.
like that.
But Dr. Blades and Miller and Walsh used a pig carcass to demonstrate bullet wounds with their effect on the skin at close range during trial.
Damn.
So they're trying to see, based on distance, what the bullet hole, the wound would look like.
Tonight on CSI Louisville.
Right. To see how close the gun was to the... So in court, they had a pig carcass. Pieces of slip undergarment from Verna's clothing was laid on each of the test sites of the pig from a fired bullet at 3, 6, 9, and 18 inches away. So they even dressed it in her undergarments to show the damage to the clothing and the skin from different distances.
In Kentucky,
they know.
putting your undergarments, female undergarments on a pig is actually pretty normal.
But I have to give them props for being this thorough.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to see the differences on the clothing and everything. Like, we're going to dress this pig. Where other cases we've done, they're just like, stabbed 18 times in the back. That's suicide. Case closed.
You got to give it to them because we've had that.
They're like, we're going to be really certain.
We've had some weird shit like that. And you're like, how can they even think that's suicide? And this one, they're like...
Kentucky's like, watch this.
Way to go, Kentucky.
Right.
1920s.
They want to get this right.
Back then they did.
Yeah.
Nowadays, not so much.
It was to show that Verna could not have done suicide. She couldn't have done it to herself based on the distance and all this stuff. The evidence remained inconclusive after several sustained objections from the defense counsel. They're like, objection.
Objection.
That's a pig.
Objection. That pig's too purty to do that.
So, I don't know how that then deemed the evidence is inconclusive because they had objections. They're like, forget it.
Maybe they didn't get like all the way through to present how it affected and
too much arguing back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been like, well, that's crappy. You complained so much that then they're like, evidence is thrown out. Like, well,
that's usually how court works.
Like
you argue and you file complaints until
like,
you know what, screw it. Get rid of that. Let's move on.
Apparently. But Verna told her daughters that Henry threatened her when she tried to break up previously.
Oh, so this ain't the first time she tried to break up.
She claims he told her, quote, if you don't marry me, you won't marry anyone.
Ooh.
I know.
That's not a red flag.
Not at all. She's like, $20,000 ring.
If I can't have you, no one will. Here's a $20,000 ring.
Yeah, no, red flag. But Louisville Police Sergeant John Messmer, a forensics expert, testified. So he's a police sergeant and a forensics expert.
Okay.
Back in the day, you got to be...
You wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, you got to be multiple positions to get stuff done. But he testified that Verna had been shot well beyond arm's reach, and that paraffin test found gunshot residue on Henry's hands and not hers.
Damn, they were testing GSR back then?
Right? Damn. They were on it.
Louisville was on it.
Gee.
All right. What happened?
John Messmer retired.
There you go.
And Dr. Blades.
Yeah. Messmer and Blades. They got shit done.
They did. But during trial, Henry claimed Verna was so upset because her family was making her end their engagement.
Okay.
Henry claimed Verna was pushing him to marry her, not break up.
Okay.
Right? It's like
you say so, buddy.
She said, yeah. Henry stated in court, quote, Miss Taylor suggested that we both die together. I told her there was no reason for us to die, that we were going to be happy. She threw her arms around my neck and said I was the finest man that ever lived. Minutes later, she would be dead. So makes no sense.
No.
I'm
And I
like,
just
what?
picture him telling the story like she wanted us to die together, and
I said, no reason
I
for
said,
that.
I want to flip this a little bit. I said, sure. And then she shot first, and I said, you know what? Maybe not a good idea right now.
Wow.
She did say I was the greatest man who ever lived, so I thought maybe I should live.
I don't know. I think it sounded like he was trying to make himself look good by saying, she said I was the finest man that ever lived. But then throwing in she threw her arms around his neck and hugging and then walked off and shot herself also doesn't line up very well. I mean, he tried to make his character better, but then at the same time, he threw the suicide thing up for question.
Yeah.
Like she was excited and hugged you and said you're the best and then walked off and shot herself.
Seems like she would want to stick around and enjoy that.
Right? So I think he kind of tried to help him, but ended up making himself look worse. But both a, quote, cursory medical exam, whatever that means,
I don't
cursory medical exam and an autopsy,
know. Okay. Maybe like initial,
I guess.
like at first, like
It's just
I don't know.
weird. I thought usually it says autopsy showed, now it said both a cursory medical
You know what?
exam.
Spell it.
Cursory.
Son of a bitch. Hold on. CURSORY.
Ory. Medical exam.
I want to just know what cursory means. Hastily and therefore not thorough.
Oh,
So, yes,
Just a
they did
glance.
initial one just like a quickie. And, they just couldn't get the job done. And, they did a quickie and it wasn't to the court's satisfaction.
it's funny you use those particular terms because I was fixed to say both a cursory medical exam and an autopsy revealed that she'd been sexually assaulted.
Okay.
Yeah. The quickie medical exam showed she was sexually assaulted.
Well,
So that trial ended in a hung jury.
as in they all had large penises.
And then half of them thought the rich white guy shouldn't be in jail, and the other half thought he was guilty.
Well, just like America. Mm-hmm. Half of them vote for the rich white guy. Half of them want him gone.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Jury was split 7-5 in Henry's favor.
Damn.
7 said
That
he was
really is
innocent,
like America.
5, said he was guilty. So a new trial was set for September 21st of 37.
Okay.
The night before the retrial, Henry met with his attorneys at the Armstrong Hotel in Shelbyville to discuss the trial's strategy. And this is the hotel they met at. Very weird. It looks like an old schoolhouse to me.
Side note, I have this weird theory that she brought up Shelbyville and it just popped in my head. I have this weird theory about The Simpsons.
I'm going to eat my Reese's.
You go ahead. This might take a minute. So
Snack break.
I don't know if any of you have seen that episode of The Simpsons where they do it's almost like a VH1, like Where Are They Now type story. And the announcer or the narrator says, who would have thought a family from Kentucky? So that's the first time they've ever said the Simpsons are from Kentucky. Well, I was looking at a map, and in Kentucky, you have Springfield, Kentucky, which the Simpsons are from Springfield. A few, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 miles up the highway, there's Springfield, Kentucky, what you just mentioned.
Shelbyville.
Or not Springfield, Shelbyville. Yeah. Shelbyville is up the road from Springfield, but it's quite a ways. In The Simpsons, Springfield and Shelbyville are literally right next to each other. They're so damn close. So I thought, well, that one's really far away. That's weird that would be like that. So I'm looking at Shelbyville on the map, and right next to it, I mean, touching it, Simpsonville.
He solved it.
So The Simpsons are actually from Simpsonville, Kentucky, and they changed it to Springfield and used the name of the town as the last name of the characters.
Oh, and took the town out. So
And they just used the town that was a little bit further away because they liked the name Simpson for the last name.
that's a good theory. There you go,
There you
guys. And that's why
Back to the podcast.
Love and the Illuminati is coming soon. But so they went to this hotel to discuss business. And then Henry walked to a nearby tavern. Because what's a cold beer after that meeting?
Yeah, makes sense.
When he left the tavern to return back to the hotel, all three of Verna Taylor's brothers were waiting for him. Yeah. And they shot Henry 7 times.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. They didn't whoop him. They shot him. The Garr brothers then turned themselves in. They said, worth it.
worth it. Yeah.
They were-
I'm almost tempted to say that they got away with it. Like they didn't go to jail or something. I just feel like that's coming.
You'll figure it.
They're all like, well, it was pretty justified. We're going to let these boys go.
I have this in order. You're like, they're gone. But they turned themselves in, and they were later cleared of all charges.
See, I'm good.
Just 2 seconds ahead
I'm
of me.
good. They were all like, let these boys go. They've been through enough.
Yes. That brother claimed mental illness.
Okay.
Jack was unarmed. He
Okay.
just went for the show, I guess. And Roy claimed it was self-defense. Roy usually does.
So even though it was self-defense, the one guy was just crazy. I'm confused.
That's all. They all had
Like
different.
they all could have just went with self-defense. Why did they have different?
I guess they're trying to see which one would get. One of them's got to get off. They're all different.
But if they all got off, then it's like, but I don't
know.
Yeah, I'm lost on that one. That's pretty interesting.
One guy's like, I didn't have nothing with me.
Yeah,
the other
I
one's
was
like,
there, but I
It
don't
was
know.
self-defense. He came at me, and the other guy's like, I'm just crazy. Like,
I blacked out. Like I was hearing voices. I don't know what
I
happened.
don't know where I'm at. Oh, Lord.
Damn.
But it was Kentucky's last, quote, code of honor killing.
Okay.
It is called a code of honor killing because her brothers were all willing to be executed in the electric chair to save her honor. Code of honor.
I don't know if that's called saving her honor. I think that was more of revenge.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I think that naming is a bit off there.
I assume,
There's plenty of revenge killings.
yeah, honor. I don't know. And then again, the trial, I don't know what Henry was saying about her.
Well, he was saying that she did it herself, and
Yeah.
maybe that's where the honor comes in.
So
Like
they did.
you're trying to make it seem like she committed suicide. It was probably
Left her kids, a widow.
I mean, and back then, everybody's heavily Christian.
Yes.
Suicide is probably considered horrible,
Yeah.
and you just basically
The whole family gets.
Yeah. So maybe
through
that's
the
where the
ringer.
honor comes in. It's because he was basically insinuating she committed suicide.
But the brothers killed Henry to, quote, prevent him from lying under oath in the same manner that he had been shooting off his mouth around the area.
Oh, okay.
So I guess he was spreading some rumors they didn't like.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
they did a code of honor killing.
Is that still available? I'm just curious.
Oh, no.
You said it was the last one, but
Yeah.
is that on the books? Like, is something you can go and say, we're going to go do that?
That's what I was wondering. Is that a thing back then? Or you're like, it was for code of honor.
I want to know if they
all
like
right.
removed it from the, is it gone? Or is it still on the books? There's some crazy old laws that are still on the books that people don't pay attention to. So I'm curious.
Oh, I never know. But only one of the brothers were tried for the shooting, and that was Roy.
Okay.
The other one said he was crazy, and the other one said I didn't have nothing.
Now the crazy one, he didn't even get to trial. Like they're just
No.
like, he's crazy. Let him go.
Yeah, Roy's the only one. Went
No
to
mental
trial.
hospital, no nothing. Just like,
Not
he's,
that it says.
he's crazy. So just let him go.
But Roy's attorney was Ballard Clark. Good
Okay.
old Ballard
Clark
claimed.
County.
Good old Ballard claimed Roy had a, quote, right to draw to avenge his sister's death. So basically said he had a right to.
He had
The
a
guy
right to
killed his
draw.
sister. It was in his right to kill him. That's like, wow, law back in the day.
That's some like Wild West shit. It's
I've
like,
never seen a lawyer.
oh,
I've never seen a lawyer go into court today and be like, it was his right.
it was
The
his
right to avenge.
It was his God-given right to shoot that man.
Like, never. But Ballard said, quote, he shot a mad dog. I say he had a right to. It isn't a shame that Kentuckians are quick on the draw. It's an honor sometimes.
Gosh.
It's an honor. We're quick to draw.
That ain't nothing we should be ashamed of. This man pulled that trigger quicker than anybody could have thought.
Yeah.
Killed that man for the honor of his sister. I say we let him go.
His lawyer went into a court and just said all the Kentuckians are quick to shoot. That's good.
That's something we should be proud of.
Right? Quick to draw. But the jury acquitted him after deliberating for an hour.
That's a quick one, too. They were like, guys, come on. You know you would have done the same thing. Let him go. You're right. Listen. Let him go.
John Barry was Henry's attorney,
Okay.
defense attorney. I don't know if it was senior or junior because there's two. There's a John Barry Jr. and a John Barry Sr. But I'm assuming the senior was the attorney because John Barry Jr., who was also an attorney, was cleaning out senior's office when he passed
Okay.
or retired, whatever, it didn't say. And he found original trial transcripts along with articles about the case.
Uh-huh.
And copies were made for the Barry Center in Newcastle, and the originals were donated to the Filson Club in Louisville. It's a
Okay.
big case. There you go. And Ian Punnett wrote a book, and he's a distant cousin of Verna's.
Okay.
He's related to Verna, and he wrote a book about the case called A Black Night for the Bluegrass Belle. I guess that's the nickname she got because she's the most beautiful lady in the bluegrass state. So, and a belle, you said, was what? Pretty lady?
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
Bluegrass Belle. And there's also another author, Anne D'Angelo, who wrote a book about the case as well called Dark Highway, Love, Murder, and Revenge. I have a picture of this lady right here.
Okay.
And that's the lady that wrote Dark Highway, Love, Murder, and Revenge. And then Ian Punnett, that's him.
Okay.
That was Verna's distant cousin. So he wrote the other book. And Ian says, quote, I think he knew that as soon as she got back to town and she told her brother she'd been assaulted, which he's talking about the sexual assault, assaulted by him on the night she was going to break up with him, that he was a dead man.
Ah.
Yeah, so he's saying that she must have been wanting to break up with them. He got a little touchy. The sexual assault happened, and he figured when she got home to her brothers, they were coming for him. So he tried to do this suicide cover-up thing.
So either way, the outcome was the same.
Yeah.
Except
The brothers
she's
got him.
dead.
Yeah.
I'm talking about with the brothers.
Yeah. But Ian also said that Henry's mistake was that, quote, he didn't realize how many people she had told that she was going to break up with him.
Yeah.
He didn't account for that. Yeah. So during his research for his book, Ian purchased an antique replica of the murder weapon to show that this, quote, was completely unnatural and virtually impossible, especially with a large caliber gun.
Yeah.
The angle she had to hold it. Ian also reached out to a forensic psychologist, Catherine Ramsland, who volunteered to do a, quote, suicidology on Verna.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's a screening. Oh, no.
Based on information, because you can't really talk to the person.
Yeah.
So,
And that's why Catherine said, quote, it's impossible to do a suicidology on her. There's no way she committed suicide. She doesn't check any of the boxes.
oh, okay.
I'm like, okay. Dr. Les Carter, a psychotherapist and narcissism expert, judged Henry as being a narcissistic sociopath.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm
Because
the greatest man she ever met.
yep. Because and plus he knows how to talk to people.
Yep.
But since he was gunned down, her case is left unsolved.
Oh,
Yeah. No one was tried and convicted because
well.
he was shot and killed. But Henry may also have been involved in another woman's death
The hell?
in 1936.
Okay.
Yeah. And we've seen this place. But July 16th of 36 at the Sealback Hotel in Louisville. Yeah. There it is.
So we actually filmed an episode of this podcast in that hotel.
Yes.
Yeah, we were in one of those hotel rooms.
And I
when
think
we
you've
filmed.
even brought me here for this.
Well, because it's considered the most haunted hotel in Louisville.
Yeah. And I think it's because of this case. Why
Interesting.
It's labeled as haunted, because this lady is what is supposed to be haunting this hotel.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there you go. But James.
Full circle, people. Full circle.
Full circle. We should record this episode in that hotel.
Yeah, we should have.
Hindsight, it's 2020. But James.
You know what? Cancel. We're going back.
Forget
Sorry.
this whole air. Delete and go. But James Embry was an 18-year-old linen sorter at the hotel. And he's on the first floor dealing with a coating of dust and pieces of plaster that had fallen inside the linen cart.
Okay.
Because there's a small elevator known as a dummy elevator, which was smaller than a normal elevator, and it only had a shelf on it. And that was used to transport linen up and down
Okay.
different floors. So while trying to find the source of all this debris and stuff that's raining down inside that elevator, he looked up and he saw a woman's glove peeking from the top edge of the car.
What's with the gloves?
Right? Upon inspecting the glove, he saw that there's also a woman's purse. And then when he went up to investigate further, he pulled open the elevator doors and he saw that there was a body of a young woman down there in the shaft.
Damn.
On top of the car. And he called for a chambermaid, Dell Burton. I don't know what Dell's going to do, but come look at this.
Dell's going to verify that it's a body.
I guess so. But the woman was fully dressed in a orchid-colored dress with white high heels.
Okay.
Orchid, I think that's a bluish, light bluish. But coroner John M. Kinney was contacted by the hotel manager. And it was discovered the body was that of a Patricia Wilson, known as the Lady in Blue.
That is the
Yeah. Now
that
you know.
is the ghost that they say is in that hotel.
Yeah, and that's her. Photo of her, but she's known as the Lady in Blue. She was born Pearl May Elliott.
Okay.
People say that Patricia, I call her Patricia because that's what she went by, was a beautiful, quote, party girl whose company can be purchased.
Ah.
Is that
Okay.
escort?
Yes.
It was determined that Patricia died in the early hours of July 16th and that she had fallen more than 6 floors in the elevator shaft.
Damn.
Yep. So there's a picture of, that's the elevator.
Okay.
And then there's this
I
article.
I'm pretty sure we saw that.
Yeah, because I was playing with, what is that, mail, U.S. mail.
Yeah, we were looking at that U.S. mail
And I
thing,
thought, what
and then
in
I
the
thought
world?
that elevator was, the doors look really small, and I thought it was weird.
Yeah, that's the elevator for the laundry. I
So,
guess.
yeah, we saw that.
Fell down there. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. I know.
That is a weird hotel, by the way.
It is very weird.
There's some weird, like,
Structural things.
yeah, it almost doesn't make sense. You think that everything's going to go in a circle in this area, and then you end up making another turn that doesn't make sense, and then you go off like in a whole different direction than
Yeah.
you thought was even possible.
It's like a maze.
Yeah, it's like a maze on some of those floors. It's weird.
It is. But she sustained a fractured skull, fractured left leg, and fractures to the right tibia and fibula.
Oh,
Her remains were removed from the hotel and taken to L.D. Back's funeral home. And then her body was identified by a Mary Catherine Burlew, and that was her landlady. So I don't know if she had family around or what. She did have a husband, though, because the landlady told police that Patricia and her husband, L.B. Wilson, moved to Louisville in 1932 from Oklahoma. And Patricia's hat was found in the hotel bar, and at the time the bar was called the Stables. Did we see that bar?
It's probably that older bar that was off to the side
Possibly.
that we kind of peeked in and looked around for a minute.
And then days after her death, Prudential life insurance policy surfaced for $500 and an accidental death of $500. And she did have a sister. She had a sister named Ruby Miller, and Ruby was the youngest of 4 children.
Okay.
So there's 4 of them. There was Frank, who was born in 1905. Pearl, which is a slave, born March 10th of 1910. There's a John, born 1913, and a Ruby, 1915. So 2 brothers and 2 sisters. Parents were Annie and Albert Elliott. And Albert died just months before Ruby's birth. So he never met Ruby. She was still cooking in the oven. But Albert died... Oh, I already said that. Annie remarried in 1917 to a Frank Goff. And they had a baby girl, Edith Goff. So technically Ruby's not the youngest. Edith would be, but Edith's a half-sister.
Okay.
Annie died in 1919, and the 4 Wilson children were put into foster homes. I guess Edith's dad took Edith.
Okay.
But he didn't want the rest of them. They weren't his. So they went to foster homes. And then Patricia, the lady in blue, married L.B. Wilson and changed her name from Pearl to Patricia.
Okay.
Ruby gave her consent to Louisville attorney Edward G. Langan to be appointed administrator of the estate since she still lived in Cushing, Oklahoma. Because Patricia and her husband moved from Oklahoma. Ruby was living in Oklahoma, so she hired an attorney to be administrator of the estate for her.
Okay.
Because she wasn't able to get to Louisville. Catherine, the landlord, filed a claim for $350, stating that she'd loaned Patricia $100, quote, for the divorce and the trip to Indianapolis. And that Patricia has not paid rent to her for over a year. So she filed, a claim to that accidental life insurance thing for $350.
So a loan and rent for a year, and all it was $300.
Yep. But Catherine's testimony was corroborated by a witness, Lena Richardson. So she brought a witness with her and be like, see, she knows she didn't pay rent.
I've seen her.
She's heard me bitching about for a year.
I've seen her. She ain't never paid no rent.
But after the funeral was paid, a whole $247.
Damn. All right.
Catherine received $280 for her claim of lack of rent.
I mean, that's almost all of it.
Yep. Attorney Langdon, this attorney Ruby hired, finalized the distribution of all the assets without purchasing a tomb marker for Patricia's grave.
Okay.
So he dished out all this money and he's like, we're done. And she's like, what tombstone did you get for her? He goes, oh, shit.
Shit. Forgot that.
Yeah, well, you know. And Ruby received nothing.
Okay.
She hired this attorney to take over and she ended up paying him. She didn't receive anything. One speculation was that she was waiting on her husband to reconcile, and on his way to the hotel, he died in a car crash. And that led her to committing suicide by jumping down an elevator shaft.
Oh.
Because no spouse came forward to claim any of her estate, and her death certificate listed her as divorced at the time of her death. Edward filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Sealback Hotel, stating that the dummy elevator door design resembled a washroom door too closely. He said, someone's going to throw that door open and fall.
She's like...
She tried to get to the washroom.
She was trying to go to the bathroom.
And fell down.
Fell down the elevator shaft.
Yep, and that's what he speculated, that Patricia thought the elevator door was a washroom door and accidentally fell down the shaft.
Okay.
The elevator door locks when the cart is not on that floor. Yeah.
So how did she get it open?
Locked. However, the lock on this elevator was broken.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
And he asked for $25,000 in damages.
Damn.
The jury determined that Patricia died by her own negligence. They said if she did open the door trying to get to the bathroom, she should have looked down. That's what they're saying. It's like it's her own negligence.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's cold-blooded.
What is? They're like, that's
Maybe
her
she
fault.
should have looked down before she took a step.
Watch where you're going. That's awful.
Wow.
She was not a registered guest at the hotel. Therefore, they claim that she was trespassing.
Okay.
I guess she was there probably with the gentleman at the bar and stuff.
Yeah.
They're saying if she did think that was a bathroom and fell, 1, she wasn't a guest, so she's trespassing. 2, that's her fault. They have no sympathy down there.
No fucks given.
Right? They're like, she's trespassing. So the suit was dismissed. You're hardcore, motherfucker, down there. A year later, Edward and his co-counsel, James Robertson, filed a second civil suit on behalf of the estate of Patricia, accusing Henry Denhart of her death.
Whoa.
Right?
All right.
People were like, okay.
So how did old Henry get involved in this?
How did Henry do it? Well, Henry was said to have been a guest at the hotel, the Seaback Hotel, that night.
Okay.
They claimed he, quote, assaulted, beat, and bruised Patricia Wilson with force and violence and malicious acts, causing the death of Patricia and causing her to fall down an elevator shaft in said hotel.
Interesting.
This time, Edward asked for $75,000. So I guess based on the year, it was 36. He just got, depending on the month, his first trial was over at a hung. So yeah, they're thinking he was out the bar, went in a little action, got a little rough with her, and then ended up her going down the elevator.
Damn.
Yeah.
This dude.
I know, right? The suit was filed against Henry while he was waiting for retrial. Yep. So it was between the trials.
Wow.
There was no proof to substantiate the claims in the lawsuit at the time it was filed. James said a client of his asserted to him that Henry was involved in Patricia's death. So they had a rat somewhere. Henry's attorney this time was Rhodes Meyer. And Rhodes would later become a Kentucky lieutenant governor himself. So not only was Henry
full circle again,
lieutenant
folks.
governor, but then his lawyer later become one too. I was like, okay. But July 28th, 37, Henry filed a countersuit against Edward and James, claiming they acted improperly in filing the suit.
Okay.
And he sought damages of $150,000. Yeah. But then I guess he died, and then everything just went to the way. So.
Okay.
But it's interesting. He was called into 2 women's.
Yeah. And both of them are famous.
Right. Dude, what are you doing? You just got
both
off
cases
trial.
are famous, though, because
yeah,
one is
Bluegrass Belle and
Bluegrass
Lady in
Belle,
Blue.
and the other one
Well,
is the
blue.
lady.
There's blue in both of them.
Yeah. And the other one's a famous ghost in the hotel. That's crazy.
It is. I'm just confused. I mean, sure. He's like, I just got off trial for killing this one lady. I'm going to go to the bar. By the skin of my teeth. I'm going to go to the bar, get drinks, and then I might rough up this lady. I got off one time. Let's see if I can do it again.
Isn't that the same hotel that had the connection to Al Capone, too?
I think so. In the
There's a lot going on in that hotel.
But Verna Taylor is buried at the Valley of Rest Cemetery in LaGrange.
Okay.
So that's her tombstone there.
Uh-huh.
Beloved wife of Rowan. Patricia Wilson is buried at Evergreen Cemetery in Louisville, and she does have a tombstone finally. They got her one. But they used Pearl M. Elliott, a.k.a. Lady in Blue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even put that on there. And then there's old Henry. General Henry H. Denhart. And then all his credentials. He's cited for bravery.
Sure.
And then, what is that? Something Mexican Border Service. Overseas World War. Cited for bravery. Commander 75th Infantry Brigade.
Brigader.
Oh, there it is.
That makes
Problem
sense.
solved. Okay, so there you go. That is the case of both the Bluegrass Belle that tied into the Lady in Blue.
Wow.
Right?
We got two
Double
cases
win.
in one.
They're connected. And this guy didn't get convicted of either one.
Very interesting.
But he got dealt the code of honor. But all right. That's all I got for you.
All right. Well, feel free to like and subscribe if you want to continue watching episodes of Love and Luminol. You can go to loveandluminol.com. That's our website where you can have lists of where we have audio and video podcast episodes. It also has links to all of our social media. We're everywhere except for X.
Not one.
Fuck Elon Musk.
Want nothing to do with X.
It's at Love and Luminol for all of our social media accounts. I'm trying to think of all the ones we're on. I mean, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, what?
We
Threads.
had a Snapchat, but I haven't logged into it.
We've never really used the Snapchat. We're on there, but we don't really use it.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Threads and Blue Sky too. So that's
Everywhere.
pretty much everywhere. I don't know what else there is.
No.
Except for X. We don't touch that one. But
Since we're dallying on, I do have to say that Beyonce, you are amazing. Like, didn't say nothing about you. You're wonderful. Keep going. Thought I had to save us in that way.
we'll be alive another year.
We'll make it past another year of album releases. Love it. Anyway.
We'll let you finish. Just playing.
I won't let you finish, but I had to say, Beyonce is the best song ever. That's awful. All right,
Man,
guys.
speaking of Kanye, God, he's going. Have you seen the new stuff?
No, I don't keep up with nothing. I'm too busy reading.
He took down all of his clothing line off of his website and put up a swastika t-shirt.
What the hell is people doing?
And he did an interview with I think it was DJ Academic, and he was wearing a all black KKK outfit, like hood and everything.
Kanye? Why?
Don't know, dudes.
Why would he associate with either one?
Dudes.
He's not the type that would associate with either
I
one.
don't know. Yeah, I don't think he understands that the people who support those two symbolic things don't like his kind.
Yeah. I don't
That's just
think
weird.
his gears aren't lining up or something at the moment.
Yeah.
Poor fella.
The moment. It's been
No,
what
like
is it?
I
It's
said,
been
I
like
don't-
a good 15 years, hasn't it?
No, I don't keep up. If it ain't on TikTok and it's not in my smut books, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like people are like, what did someone say the other day? Oh, if I'm worried about parking the Tesla somewhere. I'm like, why? You're like, you don't know what's going on?
Yes,
I'm like,
yes,
no.
we have a Tesla.
Yes.
We bought it used.
It was cheap.
It was well before all the shit.
Yes.
It's too late now to try to get rid of it.
I mean,
I'm
it's-
sorry.
We're too broke for me to have to change cars again this soon. Let's be honest.
It is what it is.
It's not
We
in
do
the
not
books.
support Elon. As I told you many times, we are not on X.
No, as
There's
you
a
can
reason.
tell 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, but we do have one.
Yeah, I know.
It's a good car. I have no problem with it.
The panel comes off the
the
door.
little panel comes off. But I like the car. I just
Yeah.
don't like the
She's
owner of the
nice.
company.
No. The car don't associate with him either, though.
That's
so.
right.
I need to get stickers.
Selena don't like Elon.
Selena don't like Elon. But Lord, so
But
people
yeah,
are
we need a
like,
bumper sticker. Suggestions, feel free to message us. What's a good bumper sticker to put on a Tesla to show that we are not involved with all
Yes.
that bullshit?
yes,
Just out of curiosity.
because it makes me nervous. I'm like, just because I drive this car I got for a good price from Carvana doesn't mean I support any of those MFers. So I'm like, oh. So now when I drive through town, I'm keep looking at people are looking at me as I drive by, and I'm like,
I swear.
are they going to throw eggs at me? Oh no! But all right, that's all I got for you
All right.
guys. I'm gonna go find another Reese's.
All right. With that, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, take care of yourselves and each other.
Deuces.
Oh, happy birthday, Patches. We didn't say nothing about her.
Nobody gives a shit about Patches.